Hello, fellow Megatennists, and welcome to another episode of Hello, fellow Megatennists. My name is LaRue, and with me is Spider.
Hey there.
Neb.
Hello.
And Glib with the new microphone.
We're out here right now.
Yes, today we have a lot of news and speculation to talk about. I think the biggest thing is probably the rumor mongering situation with P5R. Have you guys all watched the trailer?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yes.
Well, as much of a trailer as it is.
Not a lot of content.
I guess.
Yeah, did you guys understand that the stuff that they're saying in the trailer, I guess? Because that's really what's relevant.
No.
I don't speak Japanese, so no.
They're just saying, hey, we hear you. Wait.
Yeah, exactly. They're just basically saying, wait till this date, more info then. On the TV
Zoom
screens.
TM.
Yeah. And on TV screens during the little trailer or teaser, I guess, you can see that it says it says future projects or something like that. And it's got the whole world of tizzy.
There are a lot of arguments about one particular feature of the trailer. And what would that be?
I don't know.
It's the platform.
What would it be?
The platform of the game.
Oh, yeah. Because everyone was begging / praying and whatever for it to go to the Switch. And immediately, for literally 1 second, you see the PlayStation logo. And, to me, that immediately says it's not coming to the Switch.
Well, not just the Switch. They wanted a port of Persona 5 to the Switch, not necessarily a new game.
Right.
Yeah.
But the theory is sort of evolving, right? People are saying that at first they thought P5R would be a Switch version of Persona 5, kind of like Golden. How Golden was on the Vita is sort of its own thing for Persona 4. So that was what people were thinking. But now they say new projects and only the PlayStation logo. Some people are not, their expectations don't align with, what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, we see this with every release, basically. During every single announcement, there's always people in the comments saying, why isn't it this? Please come to this. I think this is the first time in a while that I've seen hardcore backlash or weird amounts of disappointment for something that was never, ever official, So everyone just assumed that this was going to happen because of the Super Smash Brothers announcement with Joker being announced as a new DLC. And I think that that's kind of an odd thing for people to jump to conclusions with. But we knew that they were going to make a bunch of new Persona projects. So I guess this is confirmation that most, if not all, those projects will be exclusive to Sony platforms, or might be a timed exclusive where initially it's just Sony and then after a year or whatever, then it'll come to other things maybe.
That's a possibility, yeah. We saw a little bit of backlash when SMT5 was released because they had the HD whole thing going on, so people thought it was going to be multi-plat, and it's not.
Yeah, and I mean, I could see why people would be disappointed with SMT5. There's like this weird relationship with Sony and Nintendo that Atlas has, where you can never really tell what's going to happen. We have some Persona games on Nintendo consoles. We have most on Sony consoles. Wait, did I say that twice? No, I didn't. Okay.
No.
But I think that this is kind of one of those things where people built up an expectation just because of a piece of information. I don't know if you guys know, but has any other Smash Brothers character that came to Smash Brothers then got a new game that came out because of that as a result or something?
There has
Bayonetta?
In Smash for Wii U, Cloud Strife, when he was announced for it, Final Fantasy VII was not on Switch, or Wii U rather. He was only in 2 Nintendo games, actually. He was in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, and he was in Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm. But now on Switch, Final Fantasy VII is on Switch now. So maybe that counts? I don't know.
That's close enough, I think.
Yeah, but then you have, like, I guess, does that mean that the Castlevania people are getting a port or something? Or do they have something for the Switch?
Yeah, well,
I don't think so.
When they put Solid Snake in, he got a Wii game, right?
No, Solid Snake had a game on GameCube. It was Twin Snakes, I think.
There you go. It's the connection. It's coming.
Well, Persona already has a game on there, anyways. PQ. It's just not out here yet.
Do you want to count this? I think that one of the characters from Castlevania is in Super Bomberman R, but I wouldn't really count that myself. It's more like a cameo, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, when it comes down to it, the whole P5R thing, I could kind of see what it might be. And I think that the P5R is just a title for all the projects that are coming all at once. Kind of like how when Final Fantasy did their Crystal List or whatever projects, and that was like Final Fantasy 13 and 15 or something.
I guess that's possible, but there's 4 separate domains, so...
It's weird, too, because it said projects, not just one project. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing. Yeah, why would there be a main domain for P5R? Would that point to these other new domains? Why wouldn't they just be, within that one? I don't know. That's kind of weird.
Maybe it's like the dancing games, and it's like 3 games in one. Something like that.
I mean...
no! Are you saying like they would split it up like the dancing games where it's like one cast is in this game and one cast is in another?
Oh no.
That would be nightmarish.
That's awful. Don't say that.
Ready.
Don't give them ideas.
Atlas, I need royalties, thank you.
Stop.
Get ready for those $80 DLC deals.
Did anyone have a point to bring up before I interrupted with my horrible monetization scheme?
Well, I mean, I guess my point that I want to say is that although it does seem kind of far-fetched that it could be like an umbrella thing, I don't really think it's going to be that, to be honest. I think that it stands for something very specific, and they're going to announce that soon, along with other projects. But even if it was an umbrella name, my only argument towards that being a possibility is... Hold on. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, you cut out. It said is, and then you sort of cut out.
Oh, sorry. So my only my argument is that because they play kind of fast and loose with domain names. There's like 4 or so for the Persona 4. There's the golden one, the animation one. There's the Tanaka one. So I think that there's just kind of like no real rhyme or reason to what they do with domain names. Yeah.
I mean, they also run out all the games too. They could be like movies or something, or anime or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's being announced with the end of the animation, I think that it might just be a movie or something. That's my... Anyways.
That could be the M one. That's a possibility. If they were going to announce a movie.
You had something you wanted to say, Neb, about something?
No, I'm good. I just wanted to say, Atlas, please hire me to split up every game into multiple titles that you have to own in order to get the complete experience.
Persona 5 Crimson Edition and Persona 5 Red Edition. I can't wait.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not.
Different demons in each one, and if you own both, you can fuse Satan and stuff.
Well, they have that already.
They get both endings.
They already have that. It's Devil Children, which worked very well, and you could fight against Kazuma Kaneko, and that's great.
He was a boss? Like kind of they did Nier Automata?
Yeah, but it's cooler because he fights with frost demons, and then you could also fight against Koji Okada. I think he uses angels or something.
That's pretty
fun or no? It sounds kind of interesting.
It's not fun.
Okay.
It's SMP.
You just said it worked well.
All right, then.
In the first 3 games, it was cool, and then the games got really bad after the first 3. And I mean,
so the first 3 good or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Put it this way: Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children White Book is Translator Tom's favorite game in the franchise, and he has played basically all of them, including the mobile game. So,
wow.
In English or no?
What? No, in Japanese.
He is a translator.
I mean,
I forgot what the point of this was. Multi-plat thing. I guess one of the things that people were saying is that the reason why we shouldn't get our hopes down is that before the Switch release is that Crash Team Racing was announced as a Sony game or something, or had the Sony logo, and then it turned out that it was going to be on the Switch as well. I think that that's kind of silly, just considering Atlus's history, where they've never ever announced a game for one console and then it turned out to be multi-plat unless it was a re-release.
Is there a new Crash Team Racing? You're referring to the one from like 20 years ago.
They announced a remake during I think TGA it was.
Okay. I just wanted to clear that up. Yeah, if that was like a port of an existing game or like an old game, it'd be like that's dumb. But okay, it's at least a new release.
Yeah. Anytime there was a game that was multi-plat release, it was announced with that teaser trailer. So a good example of that would be Persona Arena and Catherine, if you want to count Catherine, was also initially announced for both consoles, and it came out for both consoles. They never did a addendum unless you count something like Shin Megami Tensei If, that released on SNES and then released again on the Sony PlayStation and sucked on both.
So that's spoilers for a future podcast episode, maybe.
Cut that
out. Yeah, I mean, there's exclusivity deals are weird. Some of them are rock solid forever because we don't have the details, but some of them, like I think one of the GTA games was supposed to only be for one console, and then it branched out to another one later. I don't know which is which. I haven't played them in a long time, so but yeah, we never know the terms of these agreements, so it's impossible to tell.
Yeah. All in all, probably not, but it's definitely possible.
I would say hold hope for it, but if they do, they'll probably get mad. So don't.
True.
In saying that, what do you think some of these projects will be? Because we already kind of have some idea of what one of them will for sure be.
Yeah, well, let's run down what they've haven't they described what they're going to be? They said one's going to be a high action game, high something action game,
high end, so expensive, I guess maybe.
Yeah. That one was a job listing that was shown, so it wasn't an official announcement. But yeah, it's made in Unity, and they hired a 2D artist.
Oh, so. What if it's like Persona 5, but like Dragon's Crown or Odin Sphere, whatever it's called?
Or cool. Yeah, actually that would work. I was thinking
that'd be sweet.
I was thinking they would somehow partner with like Ladybug or the people who did Synchronicity Prologue and make a full like mini game thing like that.
This sounds like it's in-house though from the listing.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm gonna go over the top speculation, that would be my over the top.
I want more of that too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, use another one of those. Yeah, a brawler would be awesome. That would be a really cool use of all that stuff. But let's see what they mean by high-end action. It could be an FPS.
Yeah,
it's 2D though. It couldn't be.
It also didn't specify it was a Persona game. It just said Megaten. So who knows what it is.
Okay.
I would totally play Persona FPS. I'm not gonna lie.
you go to the school, you shoot all the students.
Stop.
That's the chaos route.
I remember the staff talking about when they were making Strange Journey how they wanted to make an FPS. So I think Atlus has been wanting to try that for a while now.
True, but then at the same time, Kaneko did say at one point that he wanted to make a soccer game that was Megaten.
He wanted to make a mobile game too.
That'd be killer. Soccer? I'd play that.
I would actually play Megaten Soccer too.
Imagine a world where the franchise like gets Mario status and there's like a Megaten everything. Baseball.
Party?
Megaten at the Olympics.
Jack Bros at the Olympics, yes.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Megaten though, make Cry at the Olympics, true. Can't wait for that.
But yeah, I don't know what they're planning. It's going to be very interesting what they do if they do something interesting and not just more dancing games and
please no more dancing games.
Yeah, not branching off into cool genres. That might be interesting.
It's something new that we haven't played already, like PQ and all that stuff. Those are great spin-offs, Arena and all that, but I'd like something new.
Yeah, I would love a fighting game.
It seems like they're trying to be more... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said I know there's like nothing confirmed about that or anything, but man, I would like one of those.
Wait, didn't Arxis say they had something with Persona? Or am I tripping?
What?
Supposedly,
I thought Arxis said Yeah, something like that.
Supposedly, Arc System said they put the Persona fighting game on hold. I don't even remember seeing that. It's just been information that everyone keeps saying, and I think they're just trying to like make this rumor come true.
I didn't see the source, so I'm just asking. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I just have never seen the source. And they also had the guy who runs some big fighting game thing talk about Persona, so people are like, "Oh man, he's teasing a fighting game." Turns out you could only talk about a game if you're going to make a game using those assets in your genre. You cannot like a game outside of your genre, is what people are basically doing.
That is true.
In saying that, did you guys happen to spot the Persona 5 Sakurai interview?
And it's bad translation? Yeah.
It's horrible translation where they definitely have a bias and are just kind of making things weird.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't say Shin Megami Tensei because I just hear Megami Tensei in there. I don't think he ever mentioned Shin Megami Tensei in that interview.
I listened to that part like a lot with headphones, without headphones, and I'm like, no. He's never said Shin Megami Tensei. It's a very distinct word, and he never says SMT either. So,
yeah, I think one thing he's trying to refer to is when Megami Tensei had the moniker Ibanroku, Megami Ibanroku Persona, which they dropped after the first game.
Yeah, and even like, yes, I think that's exactly what they're referring to, or what he's referring to. Can you like summarize the interview just for everyone who will probably never watch it?
Oh man, I barely remember it. Let's see. He talks about, I think the first question was which is his first Persona game, and he started with Persona 1, and he talks about, how that went in, and then he goes into the more popular aspects of what made Persona 3 so popular and later on. He briefly mentions that I think there's also some issues with the translation there that have caused some misunderstandings. And then after that, he talks about the menus, and I think that's the end of the interview after that.
Yeah, that's pretty much all of that happens. I mean, for what it's worth, the interview is interesting. For him to say that his favorite part of the Persona 5 game is the UI, that's funny. I don't know. It's really funny to me.
I like that.
He also
mentioned striking
part
to me too.
He also mentioned before in like an interview how he thought everything was pretty great, the story and all that as well. The music. He also talked a lot about the music, I think.
Yeah.
And how it doesn't really, he wouldn't think that would normally work, the acid jazz.
Yeah, and then he talks about what was the other? He said that he basically got all the confidants maxed out except
Yusuke.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could never remember his name. He's just the obnoxious artist, cliche guy.
The starving artist.
But I think even in the interview, I don't think the question is what's his favorite character, because the way he answers it is not saying that Yusuke is his favorite, unless he just went on a tangent.
No, he just forgot to max out Yusuke. He maxed out everyone else.
It's kind of hard in the first playthrough to get everyone.
No, I mean, I have everyone. The trick is just to beat each dungeon thing in one try.
Yeah.
Sure. I think I maxed everyone too, but you can get gated, If you don't know ahead of time, you get gated by like, your charm is at 5, so you have to grind that, and you get behind by like 3 weeks,
Speaking of
that, best bro.
Going back to the wonky translation part about what made the modern personas so popular, I saw a lot of speculation on Reddit and all that saying the art style and different things. But I think the thing that really made the series take off was the calendar system and the switch to 3D. I think that's really what's made it what it is today.
Yeah, that's the huge part of it, because it makes all the characters. I mean, he says it makes them more realistic, which I just can't even believe that he thinks that any of the characters are even moderately realistic. But
this is also sort of like almost a fluff piece where he's promoting the character in a way who's from a game that he likes, and he's being nice.
Well, I mean,
sure, he doesn't love the writing or anything.
Well, what Spider was referring to earlier is that he writes for Famitsu, like I don't know if it's a weekly article, but he writes.
It was weekly.
Yeah, and he just basically goes, "I love everything about Persona 5," and he just gushes about it. And that this is I mean, maybe he already knew that Joker was coming, but this is around the time that Persona 5 was fresh, if memory serves. So he definitely has a fondness for it. I mean, a lot of what he was saying in the interview, I was just like, is this just like the Japanese perspective of Persona? It's really interesting because, yeah, he was saying the UI, I think this, like Spider said, the calendar system is huge, and just that kind of like format just works so well with the juxtaposition of being an RPG and a simulator thing.
I don't think it's just that though, because if you talk to people who play Persona 3 and 4, you hear that like the reason they like it so much is the themes, and like they needed it at that time they played it, like, you know.
I think the older games have that too. They also have they don't have a confidant system, but you definitely get the friendship aspect and the bonds aspect going there. It's just not as, I don't know, organized.
Yeah. And there's a lot more structure to it once you get the calendar system. You have these like demarcated lines of like when this character has more development, and you can choose to do it at certain times. It's not just pre-scripted to happen. And you don't even have to talk to some people if you don't want. You're like, I hate this character. I don't want to learn anything else about them. Just cut them out. I'm not talking to you.
Or there could be characters you love, like Bebe in Persona 3. You want to max out his social link because you're like, oh, he's a weeb just like me.
Self-identification.
I think
here's another thing in Persona 3 that was the first. Wasn't this when they moved? Because in 1 and 2 it was all like random encounters, right? And this is when they moved that thing where you can like hit the guy to start the fight, right?
Yeah,
it's not just a pure random encounter. That's what I liked.
Yeah, but then in order to get that, you have to sacrifice having unique demon designs. Like they're all just that weird blob thing.
Yeah, the shadow stuff was kind of I don't like that. Well, they get some pretty unique shadows in some of the other games. And then in 5, they're like shadows on the screen, but when they get in the fight, they're individual demons and stuff, right?
Which is the preferred method, I think.
Yeah. You get best of both worlds. But
I mean, all that being said, it was really interesting to see Sakurai talk about Persona, and the way I was trying to read into the interview was more of just understanding the Japanese perspective of why Persona is popular, not just him gushing about the game. Because there's one part where it's definitely business, and he has to like say good things.
Yeah.
The other part is he's definitely a fan, especially if he started with Persona 1.
Yeah, for sure. He's played all of them right now, I guess. At least the main titles.
Yeah, I mean, the one part of the interview though that I actually marked down because it made me laugh was when he said the one thing he wished of Atlas games in the future is if they could be shorter.
Yeah, I can understand that, not having the time.
Yeah, he said. I mean, I would actually like it if they were shorter too. To be honest, it feels so superficially long. Some of these games.
Oh yeah, one more thing before we move on. We were talking about how I guess something about the characters being realistic in the Persona games. I'm not so sure that's really what they mean. I think they're more down to earth compared to most tropey kind of anime styled writing.
Yeah, I mean, the example he's using is their imperfect speech being more humanistic than everyone speaking pretty perfectly and being well written in the sense that they're grammatically and whatever, they're written as if they're not human because they're so perfect in the way they talk. And I guess that's what he was trying to say with that. But even that, I was like, If they tried to capture that with the English version, they did a very bad job.
Maybe that's what the intention was with the pronunciation. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that actually might be it. So this is kind of a thing that I wanted to talk about, even though it's not really Megaten. It's 13th birthday. So wow, okay, Freudian slip. It's 13th month. It's a game written by Kazunari Suzuki. He's done a lot of the old Megatens. Megaten 1 for sure. He did some writing for SMT 1, 2, and he wrote the manga Tokyo Revelation, which got that OVA that's really bad. Yeah. So this guy, he's teamed up with Tsukasa Masuko, who did all the good music for Megaten. No offense to Sojima, but like my favorite music all comes from like SMT 1, 2, and Modern Tensei 2. And those are all music that's been composed by this guy. They teamed up with this artist, I forgot her name, and they're making a visual novel that's set to be released in October of this year. And it's kind of interesting because in their newest update, what they basically say is they rewrote the entire script.
And that's basically most of the game, right? The script.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for visual novels, I would imagine all of most of it is just what they're saying and stuff. And if you go to their Kickstarter page, they pretty much lay out what the story is going to be. And now I guess none of that's going to be in there, or some of it's going to be in there. They said. Sorry, go ahead.
Their previous update before that, before they mentioned they were rewriting the script, it seems like they didn't have much done. So it looks like they have some wiggle room there to improve and change things before they get into the big production part.
Yeah, and I'm not really someone who's ever kickstarted a project before or followed through on a Kickstarter. But as I was watching this like unfold, I'm like, is it normal for it to essentially go a whole year without any real updates, and then for them to suddenly be like, oh, we rewrote the script?
That's pretty concerning. As someone who has the opposite of you, who has backed probably half a dozen projects, number one, don't do it. It's a bad idea. Number two, when there's intermittent updates, that's like a really bad sign. It means nothing's really happening, or they're bad at communicating that, which could be a good thing. They could surprise hit the date the first try, no delays. But it could also mean that they're extremely behind, and they don't want to discourage further support.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm actually like already nervous. They've made a statement in their last update saying that they're gonna essentially do some sort of video update to kind of give us more information, and I'm like, that's not gonna be useful. They should just show us things like throughout the month as opposed to randomly. If you go through the Kickstarter's like comments or whatever, there's one guy who every single month will be like, it's that time. Like I think verbatim he says, it's that time. Is there any news? And then the guy will just be like, no, every single time.
That guy's the fan. This should give him. I was noticing one of the pledges is you can pay them 20,000 yen or something like that.
It goes even higher than that too.
This is the funniest one. You get to have dinner with the main guy.
Suzuki, yeah.
It's a 5,000 yen dinner, which they will provide, I think, as part of the thing. But you got to pay the rest of it, and you can just hang out with him, I guess, and eat dinner with him.
Maybe someone can find all the Megami Tensei credits.
Exactly. Yeah, they should either give that to him, or he should that guy who always asks for updates should get that pledge and be like, all right, let's sit down. When's this coming out, man? Give me some. I got you.
The weird thing is, I saw that exact reward tier was like copy pasted like 4 or 5 times, and each one, I guess they maxed it out at 6. So they got like, what is that? Like, what's math? 24 or so people to pay for that dinner. So does that mean that there's going to be this big round table of people eating, all like trying to get information, or is it going to be one dinner at a time? Yeah,
that's weird. I just saw that. First of all, there are 4 different ones that are slightly different money. Maybe there's different rewards associated with them. And number 2, I think they're all sold out except the last one.
Yeah, because the last couple were like super ridiculous. It was just you get a giant poster and then you get all the other stuff, and I don't think you get the dinner, but it was like ridiculous. I guess
skeptical.
I guess I went from being super hyped because I was just like, oh man, like not so much Kazunari, but like Tsukasa Masuko, I love his music. So for his? Oh no, I don't know the gender.
I don't know either.
I believe it's a his. I scrolled past the page and there was 2 old dudes and a young lady, and I assume the young lady is the artist.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Definitely a guy. And Kazunari Suzuki is wearing some weird hat.
Yeah, he is dressed as a king or something. He has like a wax mustache. I think he's wearing like king stuff. It's very strange. Weird vibes from this one.
Yeah, I went from being super hyped to now I'm just skeptical that it's ever going to come out at all. I actually pledged the like 800 yen tier, whatever. And that's like the game with a bunch of like goodies. But I'm like, oh, am I even going to get the game now? So it's interesting that this is what one of the like, or a couple of the old Megaten people are doing. Because with like Koji Okada, for instance, he's making like card games for mobile. So it's weird to see what they're up to now. And I thought this was a really interesting thing because we could get our reaction before they put the video out and become even more disappointed.
Well, I wouldn't pay for dinner with them, but it'd be kind of cool to talk about old Megaten with them, I guess. Like hear some stuff about stories of SNT 1 and 2 or something.
Actually, that's what I would do too. I'd be like, hey, so tell me anything.
That'd be so bad, man. You just show up to this new game, like dinner, and you're like, all right, I don't want to talk about this. Let's talk about the stuff that matters. Stuff that came out 30 years ago.
SNT 5 coming out, man. Let me know that.
It's true.
I tried to get an interview together with those guys, and I had sent a bunch of questions that they're supposed to answer. And one of the only questions I wanted them to actually answer was, do you still hang out with Kazuma Kaneko? And they ignored that question.
Damn.
Wild. You know what that means.
Cold.
I mean, it means he's dead.
Didn't even answer it.
More confirmation that he's dead.
If you know Kazuma Kaneko, please let us know. Liveru is constantly trying to get in contact with people who know him. He's very worried.
That being said, we also... Do we have any more news on Catherine?
No,
so.
just wait. Basically,
It's all the news. Wait.
We have something after the release of Catherine, but that's about it. That's all we know.
Yay. Okay, I don't know why I put this in there then.
All right, no news on Catherine, in case you're wondering.
No, Re-Fantasy.
Oh yeah, for either, really. Yeah, there hasn't really been anything. But we do have some things with DX2 or D2.
Yeah, D2.
So as you guys might be... go ahead, Neb.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm going to kill you. I got to edit this part out. All right, go on.
So I was going to just say, as you guys know, the anniversary of D2's release in Japan, right, is now, right, essentially. And as a result, they're doing their festival that's basically a giant fan meetup that I believe they're also going to be streaming live or something. And they're going to be showing off like a gallery of the winners of the art contest, of which 2 people that we know are entering that contest.
You and me?
Yes.
The only 2.
Neb was going to enter an interpretive dance, but I guess...
It was too good. That was my concern. It would be just too good.
And I got to say, looking at the gallery now is super discouraging.
They're way better.
Okay, so originally I was like, cool, there's a bunch of kids trying. I'm going to win. Like, at least be one of the people that wins MAG. now I'm like, cool. It'll be on an official Sega website for a bit. Even I don't know. There's so many good pieces. I gotta say that it's really cool because when I think DX2, I think there's like no one really playing the game, but then supposedly over 2 million downloads both in the English version and the Japanese version, right? And
is that cumulative between the two, or each has 2 million?
And I think that's cumulative because I know each one did a million downloads event at different times. So it's either the English version decided to celebrate the Japanese and English together getting 1 million, or both got 1 million separately and then combined would be 2. I don't know. But I guess what I was thinking is that it wasn't going to be as successful as it is. And they have been working towards making a better game. We've even gotten news about them trying to make it more Megaten-ish, with the last edition, the newest chapter, being very different in terms of tone, I would say. And
yeah, far more serious, at least not character-wise, but plot-wise.
Yeah, well, there's some they did a couple interesting things. I'm one of the only people on Earth who has not skipped all of the dialogue that happens in the entire game. So I've actually read all of it, and it has hurt my brain. But yeah, the tonal shift is definitely there in Chapter 7, and you actually get people arguing for real with like consequences, sort of, because people die, sort of. So it's much more serious. The first 6 chapters are sort of like, this is just like a low grade anime. There's nothing really happening. It's not very interesting. But now they're saying that there's going to be a new chapter or a new section or something after 7 where you're going to have a route split, much like a traditional game, right? Mainline game, where you have law, neutral, chaos.
Yeah, they were also saying they were going to work more closely with Atlas too, I think.
Which, I mean, if this new chapter is anything to go on, I think that it's a good idea because this is the first chapter that I actually read, and as a result, when I made my second account, I got to chapter 3 before I stopped reading again. But I read more of the old chapters just so I could have better understanding of why chapter 7 is better. But it's good. It's nice, meaty, and thick.
Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't played DX2 since the beta. How long do you think they keep sending out updates and stuff? I'm curious.
I don't know. I guess it depends on how long it makes money for them, mostly.
I was thinking about getting back into it, but I don't know.
I think they're going to roll out updates. I mean, the way that they've been doing these events and updates has been very, very consistent and very frequent. Just given the user base, if we're going to just say that a tenth of the user base is actually active, so that's 100 or 200,000 people, and then we say that only 5% of the 200,000 people are actually paying money, those people would be considered the whales. Then they're basically funding the entire game, those whales. I think that it's safe to say that they're making a pretty good amount of money pretty consistently. Every time they announce these new demons and stuff, I watched the channel 1, which is the talking channel that you can. There's several that you can talk in, but one is the most active, and that's where all the whales are. Every single time there's a new banner, meaning that you can summon new demons, or there's some sort of new stipulation, I see these people putting in $100 to $300 every single time.
Jeez.
So
insane.
Thank you for paying the salaries for these brave Sega employees.
I'm trying to get them to be on my friends list so I can give better rates.
He knows the science.
Well, Spider spilled the beans on that, but
yeah,
it's a possibility, but I don't know. It seems to work for me.
They're not gonna, ever state that, but that sounds like a likely experience. So what they're saying, what we're referring to is, if you have your friends list filled with people who spend a lot of money, they will in turn give you slightly better rates on what you randomly get.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, I know they do that for, like, this is not even the same type of game, but I know they do that for Pokemon Go. In Pokemon Go, if you spend a lot of money, and they'll kind of like flag your account, which flag is probably the wrong word because it sounds really bad, but they basically make a note that you spend money frequently, and they'll change the percentage of chance that you'll get a shiny encounter. So that means that like when you're playing the game, you could randomly run to shiny Pokemon. The percentage is really high for Pokemon Go compared to the mainline games, but it's even higher if you're someone who pays regularly.
I don't like that. I just
Yeah, if you're not a fan of dubious monetary practices, you're not going to like mobile game at all. The whole ecosystem is polluted with aggressive monetary tactics, putting things behind a paywall that change the game, putting out a demon from an existing race that you can fuse up in a $40 pack.
Ugh.
Who does that, I wonder?
Money grubbing Sega.
They have all this money, yet they can't fix their typos.
What
editors are very expensive.
Very expensive, apparently.
I mean, I can do that with like Microsoft Word. I just think that it's hilarious that there's so many frequent errors, and when they do fix them, they only fix them partially.
Yeah, like the Limes girl. What is her name?
Yeah,
Reiko.
She goes from saying that she'll steal your limes. Or it's still grammatically wrong, but now she doesn't say limes, she says limbs now, but it's still grammatically incorrect.
Yeah, it says steal you limbs.
One typo at a time.
And it just takes a lot of work. Just imagine there's a person who went through that like text file or whatever and saw that it said limes because everyone kept making fun of it, fixed limes, read the whole dialogue thing again, and was like, oh, that's pretty good.
So your fatal assumption there is that they read the whole thing. They control F for limes and then just changed one letter and then pushed it. We're like, oh god, I forgot the other part.
Fair enough.
I guess we have to complain more.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I've been kind of like screenshotting every time I see something that's like grammatically wrong because I think it's funny, and I might just like send that all to Sega and be like, here you go.
You should go through the entire game with every option possible and just compile like a masterwork of every single. It would take way too long because every single word is wrong, probably, but they would like pay you probably. They should pay a bounty.
I mean, I'd like to hope. Maybe they can increase my my rare drop so I can stop getting jeans. Oh my god.
Jeanne Delte, something. What is her name? Jeanne d'Arc.
Yeah, Jean.
Yeah.
Jeanne of
whatever.
Jeanne d'Arc.
Jeanne d'Arc.
The weird thing about her, like this is kind of just a tangent, is that she kind of just looks like Alice. Like when you look at both the models, they're so similar to me.
Yeah, her head looks exactly like her, like a more mature version of Alice. That's kind of creepy.
It was like freaking me out. I'm like, did they just recycle this, or is this like a weird timeline where Alice grows up and burns at the stake?
That's kind of dark. Okay.
Do you not know Joan of Arc?
Man, I do, but.
But okay, I forgot why we're okay. The reason why we even brought it up is because they're having that festival. Hopefully, me or actually Spider or myself wins. That'd be cool, right? I mean,
at least Mag, please.
Yeah, at least Mag.
Please.
Like,
people stop submitting good stuff. There's enough.
So far, there's enough because I think, like, of the pieces that I saw, I would say that there's about 10 really, really, really good pieces that have a chance. That leaves room for like 3 other winners. So there you go. We could probably get some Mag. But I've already like the delusion of me winning a tablet is over now. I'm not even.
Yeah, pretty much for me too, because I submitted the part with my version of my drawing with a hole in the background and the lighting's all messed up. So I'm like, oh no.
Oh.
That sucks. But one of the things, I mean, I don't even know why But I've been thinking lately that what if DX2 is like a prototype for a Persona mobile game, and it's going to follow a similar beat.
Dude, how bad mannered would that be if they like made a equivalent, similar Persona game and then just abandoned the DX2? Just pushed everything over the Persona one. Just abandon it.
Maybe they can just do mobile dancing.
They haven't done
dancing.
that yet?
No?
They have to have done that. That would make total sense if they did that.
Wait, did what, a dancing thing?
Yeah, mobile dancing thing. Because it's a rhythm game, right?
Well, I mean, if you look at the comments and the reviews for Persona 5 and 3, that's what they were saying that they should do. That's what the fans wanted. So I can see them going for that. I know that they've done like these weird sim things in the past for Persona mobile games. And that's kind of what has me thinking, oh, they could probably do this exact formula, but you know, it's not at Megakin's house or whatever. It's at this school.
Right, some high school or whatever. Yeah, I don't think they're going to make a game just like this. It would have to be a different format, because if they want to like bring in the Persona crowd to this kind of game, they could just do like a collab or whatever. You know, have a week where Persona themed stuff, or a month where Persona themed stuff comes in, and just repeat those over some pound time.
I think people care more about the characters in Persona than the demons too. So they might want to focus more on gacha characters than gacha demons.
True.
I think you can work with like social links too, because like after the first maybe like month or so, you need to be done with it unless it keeps going.
No, it would be each new scenario is just a new social link that's open, and if you want to be able to talk to them, you have to pay $10.
That's a good idea. I think about that.
I run Sega now, by the way.
It's a nightmarish idea.
It's genius. I guess the last bit of news that we have is that Alice has 270 staffers. That's a lot. That's a lot. It sounds like a lot. I don't really know how much a typical studio has, but these are 3 different divisions. So then, if we assume that most of them are Division 1, which is the Maniacs team, then even then, like, what does that mean? Is that a good size for like a quality game or what?
That's a lot of staff. I think what Final Fantasy 15 staff had almost 200. Something like that. They had an excessive amount of staff.
Does that mean like development staff or just everyone at the entire company?
I think probably everyone at the company.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone at the company.
Like everyone during the whole time too, because Final Fantasy 15 had like a long period of development too.
Yeah, that's true. But it's quite a bit of staff, though. I don't think you could call them a small studio or an indie studio anymore.
Yeah, I was trying to play with the idea that they're like a medium studio, like not a AAA, like a triple B.
Triple B.
But yeah, I'm just like, okay. Well, so then, is this the part where they are no longer able to get away with some of the cheapy things that they do?
I don't think that's going to stop them from.
Yeah.
And each studio has its own kind of identity and what's expected of them. So, well, except for I guess Zero right now, because no one really knows what their new project is like.
True. I decided to look up just a random project that would probably tell me how many developers or whatever worked at that game. So for Red Dead 2, they had 1,000 people on staff for just that one game. So that's like a AAA staff, or maybe that's representative.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's probably just different because it's a open world, empty world game.
I don't know if ODR 2 is like the best marker though, because like it is AAA and open world and stuff by Rockstar also. Probably took years to do that, so I don't know.
American development's probably different than Japanese development too, staff-wise.
True. I think the only thing that they have in common is they do that crunch at the end where everyone works overtime for no reason.
Sounds like development to me.
Yeah. I guess unless there's anything you guys want to say, then let's get into the questions.
Let's do the questions.
Yes. So, as everyone knows in the whole world, there is a Facebook page called Did You Know Tensei, where our esteemed host, Liveru, sometimes posts news about our podcasts, including this question. He posed his own question. Start off. Recording a new podcast episode. Do y'all have any questions for me or my co-hosts? And we received questions.
Okay,
so
go ahead and read the questions, Neb. You have the silky voice.
Of course, absolutely. I'm not going to read this question. I will read this one. Jesse Herrera writes in, who's best girl? Zelenin or Isabel? Now, what I assume he means is Zelenin from Strange Journey. That would be a great game. Strange Jersey.
Oh my.
Isabel, which I think is Isabeau from SMT4.
I'm pretty
it's
sure.
Probably autocorrect on his phone.
Sure.
That's true.
So what do you guys say?
All best path. Zelenin, best girl.
Zelenin for sure. I love Lady Gaga.
Yeah, Zelenin. That's an easy one.
Her getup is pretty sweet, actually. That's a good point. I forgot she wore that crazy shit at the end.
Yeah, it's like an armadillo thing.
Respect for wearing that out of the house.
Is a ugly.
Yeah,
she's cute. I think. Just didn't.
Yeah, except for
find
her
her character too interesting.
What was with the tassels? Like her front ponytail things. What were those?
I'm guessing he tried to go for a shrine maiden look or something, and they just ended up a little tassel-y.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. All right, next question. Enrique Lanute, I think, writes in Danilo. I don't know what that means. I might have just said a racial slur. But that's not a question, so we're just going to move on. Here's a good one from Simon Juarez. Why to show a traitor they use mastema? It affect that she's a thought?
What?
Yes.
Now here's my attempt at deciphering this puzzle that this man has posed towards us. Why to show a traitor, to portray a traitor in plot, why would they use mastema? And then the second part, I have no idea what it means. It affect that she's a thought, because mastema is a dude.
I think he's asking if it's because that Zelenin. I think he's saying that Zelenin's a traitor. He's asking, is it because that she's a thought? I think that's what he's saying.
Sure. I'm going to say yes to this question. What do you guys think?
I'm going to kind of bank on what Glib is saying and assume that they're trying to say, why does Mastema side with Zelenin or something? In the Bible or whatever the Dead Sea Scrolls or something, Mastema is essentially Satan, and he just tests humans and tries to draw the evil out of them. And I think maybe Zelenin is, I don't know, maybe her sin is being afraid and lacking any kind of thing. I don't know.
The disparity between the level of effort he put in this question and you put in this answer is staggering. Thank you for having a real answer.
Yeah,
that question is so funny.
I'm gonna get that printed out and send. We're all gonna have shirts that say that.
No.
This next question is not safe for work. If you have small children or employees or coworkers around that, and you're listening to this horrible podcast with your open headphone, what are you doing? First of all, second of all, turn it off right now because it's getting X-rated. Francis Murray Griffin writes in, which Persona / SMT protagonist has the biggest dick? What do you think?
Any Machine Man.
Serve. Well, more specifically, Varuna.
And
although that's not SMT or Persona, but you know what? Deal with it.
Sure, that's good. What do you think, Laura?
I think it's Megami Tensei 2's protagonist, Hideta.
Okay. I would say it's Doom Guy from Strange Journey. That's the obvious one, but it could be an inverse. He could be this big buff guy, but he doesn't, he's compensated for something. But
yeah.
It could also be good old Chad. That's a good bet.
If you're going by Chad. American canon, he's American male. and they're all Japanese teenagers. So that's a fair assumption.
He's also only an American. Okay, you're right, actually, because the text in Strange Journey of Redux is correct, which calls him American, right?
Not the dialogue, though.
Yeah, but it's in English, so that means it's correct. So now I agree. Since he's American, that's true. That's canon.
It is.
But
Case closed.
it affects that she's a thought?
Yes. Okay. Franco Espinoza writes in, do you think Atlas will ever talk about P1 and P publicly? I think he meant to say P2 because that's the logical, continuation of P1.
I mean, what do they have to say?
That is my original question. What is there to say about it?
They did talk about the PS Classic. They said the wrong year or whatever, right? When they were saying that it's on the PS Classic.
Did they?
Yeah, I didn't remember that, Lever. You pointed that out. It was like 10 years ago. This game came out, but it was really like 23 or something.
Oh yeah. That was Atlas USA. They they said that that Persona 1 came out 10 years ago today, but was that September or something?
Yeah. It did not come out in 2008.
Did they get that confused with Innocent Sin?
I don't know what they're trying to say.
I don't know. I don't think either of them came out in 2008 because that was 10 years prior to 2018, which is when they made. Anyway, whatever. They're done. Victor Cano has a actually good question. What was your guys' first Megaten game?
Okay, let's go Glib first.
Yeah, what was Glib?
I have a bad memory, so I can't remember what the first one was, but I know like the first three I played.
Okay.
SMT 1, 4, and Persona 3.
Okay.
Portable.
Cool. Spider.
All right, so my first one was Digital Devil Saga 1. I didn't play 2 until many years later. And the reason why was we picked it up, was on vacation at Disneyland, and we picked up a random game at some military outpost store. And it was there, and so we bought it, and it was a bind buy. And ended up playing it on instead of going to Disneyland.
That's interesting.
What about you, Ned?
For me, it was Nocturne. I first heard about the franchise on an image board, an unnamed image board, a secret one. And they had lots of shitposts about this franchise that I'd heard about, and I was like, I'll try one of these. And it was quite something. And I didn't really play any of them for a while, and I got back into it a couple years later, and played a lot of them since. Quite a few.
Oh, and for me also it was Nocturne. Just to flex a little bit, I played it in like 2004 when it came out.
I did not play in 2004. I want to clarify.
But I only got it because one of my friends bought it thinking it was cool looking, and then he said that it was really bad, and he gave it to me and was like, "Oh, you might like it because it's edgy." Well, I don't think people said edgy back then, but he gave it to me. He was like, "It's just basically Pokemon, but it's all dark." And then when I played it, I was like, "Oh, this is just like Pokemon."
It's funny how
did he lie though?
13 years later, he's still right.
He's still right. And yeah, never looked back. Never played it again too.
To be fair, they are long games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sakurai has a point.
Exactly. Another question from Joseph Puyo. He asked, Mastima, swood dude or dumbass loser? This is a law or chaos question, and how you answer will affect your alignment, so be careful.
Mastima is an angel you can trust. That's all I can say.
Oh.
He's on my team, my D2 team, so I'm going to go with, yeah.
I'm going to say he's not a swood dude.
He's a dumbass loser to you?
Yeah, he's got those weird Like, doesn't it bother anyone that he's not wearing shoes? Like, he has like those pants that like strap onto the heel of his foot. It's so annoying to me. I don't know why.
He's wearing some kind of weird cowboy yoga pants because they like go under his foot. They're like too tight. It's like don't. I don't
Yeah,
like
that
They look comfy.
his posture's terrible.
Yeah, he looks like he's hunched over. I know he's not. Like, I don't think he is, but he looks hunched over. His animation in Stranger Journey Redux is really bad. He's got crow wings, which crows are cool, but he's not. And then, how does his mask stay on his face? Everybody, take a second. Is it just the divine power of God keeping his mask on?
Scotch tape, bro. Scotch tape.
No.
Yeah, these are like the. I guess I really never thought about it, but they're kind of like those glasses that Lawrence Fishburne wears in The Matrix. Where you just look at them, you're like, is this like crushing his nose to wear? Like, what's going on?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's made out of cloth.
Yeah, this is a mystery. Well, so my opinion is I don't have any strong feelings, so I'm gonna stay neutral. Oh yeah, and then we saved the best for last. The only good questions that were asked the entire time. Here they are. They were both asked basically by the different people, same question. Rahul Ghosh and Victor Cano both wrote in to ask, basically, what do you want to see in SMT5, or what do you think is going to be in it? Like, are we going to have, is there going to be a twist on press turn, or is it going to be exactly the same? Because they've been messing around with it in some newer games. Is negotiation going to be super hard, like in some titles? What do you think?
I don't think it's going to be more difficult. I think they're going to continue what they did with 4 and make things a little bit easier for people trying to get into the series.
If we're talking about what I want, I'd like to see negotiation like Persona 1 and 2. So I'm a real fan of that. I'm a big fan of that kind of stuff where you have to like actually like have guess what they're thinking and stuff and like mix and match. And
the color wheel thing.
Yeah, that.
I
don't know the natural name for it. It's fun though. But I expect it to be more of the same, like SMT4. But I mean, I don't expect anything different, really.
Yeah,
it's more of the same.
And then I hope that it's not like SMT4, more like SMT Bore. Am I right? But I pretty much anticipate that it's gonna that they're gonna move to 3D again, because that's a waste of Unreal Engine 4 if they're gonna do more stuff like how SMT4 is kind of plays out. I think that they're gonna probably manipulate the press turn some more, but they're gonna keep things like the moon phases and all that stuff the same. It would be cool if they brought back Magnetite, and how that affects your ability to have demons out. That'd be cool. It'd also be cool if they expanded on the whole, what are they called? Mobs, where you just have like 10 demons, like all swarm together, like just a big mass of demons all trying to fight you at once.
Like a horde from...
Yeah, horde, that's what I meant. Yeah, that was a cool thing that they had. Whisper was kind of cool. If they just tighten up those mechanics to not be so easily broken, because they're so easy to break, that'd be great. And I would like for them to continue doing that thing that they do where they heavily reference other SMT games, but without making people make more dumb timelines going, ooh, SMT5's connected to Nocturne. They both have a tunnel. Like,
SMT5 is a prequel to DX2, actually. I have a really good timeline to prove this.
Oh boy.
You're not. This is Neb's last time in this podcast.
It's a fact. Jack Bros is a sequel, actually, too.
Stop.
I've noticed a lot of referencing to and mention in the interviews about Nocturne, too. I think they're going to be borrowing elements from that game, like the Sephiroth, and you saw Magasuchi in the trailer with the pouring off the demons. I think they're going to take some concepts from that. I don't think it's going to be a direct connection, but I think they're going to take concepts from it.
That'd be cool. I'd be down for that.
I said it for in the trailer, the teaser, I guess, rather, not really a trailer. They used some words like Shekinah glory, And I'm a law boy, so I'm hyped for that. Ooh, it's time.
Oh no.
I'm genuinely hoping it's a law themed game.
Yeah, law theme would be a nice change of pace. I am hoping that like Shekinah, however you pronounce that, or like just it's anybody besides Yahweh. Kind of tired of seeing his face.
Sure, I want a game with Brahmin. That'd be cool.
They mentioned the divine feminine, which would be Shekinah, so I think that's going to be our main baddie.
It is. And look on that.
I don't know. Please don't quote me on it, but that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I would wager to guess that that's going to be right, or she's going to play some significant role. They did a lot of like weird world building where they're connecting all the games, which is exactly the opposite of what I said I wanted. But
maybe that's just Apocalypse. We can safely ignore Apocalypse, hopefully.
I don't know. Did people in Japan like Apocalypse? Because I see when I look for merch, I tend to look for books now because I'm trying to get all the tabletop RPG books. But I see like a lot of Dojin, and the characters that I see the most are typically Rhino, Demi Fiend, and Bunny protagonist from Desu 2. And the weirdest one to me, the one that I didn't understand, was Little Nanashi from SMT Apocalypse. Why?
He wears a maid dress, of course. That's why.
True.
Okay. Well, that's the end of that.
You asked a question, man. I had to answer it.
Well, before we end, I do want to just point out one thing. Recently, you had a poll on your Twitter about our next episode, which is not going to be this one technically, right? Because the people out there wanted us to do one of two things. What were they? The one was spoiler cast for an old game. And what was it tied with something, didn't it?
The other one is they wanted us to talk about the community, the fan base, the fandom, whatever.
Okay.
Which
no.
Sounds super boring.
I gotta admit, like that'd probably be like a 10-minute discussion, and then we talk about literally anything else. Like it'd probably be with like something else that's gonna suck to talk about, like
Let's
timeline.
get Gideon on.
Whole episode timeline's coming up next. We have a confirmed. We are going to be playing an old game. We have actually started playing, of course. We're going to be having an episode where we discuss an old game in the franchise. And that'll fulfill the one part. And then I guess we should just do another poll after that's out and see what people want after that. If they still want to do the community, we can do that. But
yeah,
Please don't pick the community.
I'd highly push against the community just because. Oh my god!
Why'd you even make it an option?
It's because you got to do things spontaneously. Sometimes your best ideas are the ones you just make up right then and there. And that was one of those bad ideas. When people vote on these polls, I can never tell if it's people who are memeing or people who are doing it as like a goof or something. On Twitter, most of the people that follow me are not so lame. So then for that to get a really high vote, like I just don't know what they want. Like, what does that mean? Like,
What's there to say?
I mean, I had some ideas that we could do. Like, we could talk about like different types of people in the community. Like we know that guy that has a kid who played SMT4 Apocalypse, and his kid's like 8, which is the typical age of the fan base. But it'd be cool to be able to tap directly into that.
That's way too least.
yeah, that's an interesting perspective. Well, how about you plug your Twitter here so people can actually vote on these and prevent your worst nightmare from coming true?
You can link them in the description.
Yeah, I'll just put the link in the description because, it's.
Okay, so next episode coming up will be spoiler cast of an old game. So again, it's going to be spoilers. Please do not get mad
game.
if we spoil a game that's 30 years old.
And also don't get mad because we're going to basically introduce the game as we start talking about it. So if you're not good at listening, you probably shouldn't listen to a podcast.
Exactly. Or you can practice, Yeah. Anyway, everything else?
No, Glib got a new mic, You might notice that he doesn't sound like he's underwater anymore.
I'm kind of offended by that, but my voice all smooth now, so I'm not even hating.
So he just like sold his like plasma or something to get money for a mic.
Wow. I'm offended all over again now.
And I guess that's it. Yeah. Thanks for watching or listening to Hello Fellow Megatennists, and have a fine, mighty fine, whatever day it is for you.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.